Welcome to It's Not Your Fault. I'm Jeff. Wanted to follow up with last week's video with some more succinct information about serenity and how to attain it. Thank you for the people that stopped by and watched my first video. I really do appreciate it. If you like what you're seeing, please like and subscribe and leave me a comment also. Again, I'm not scripted. I'm not an influencer. I'm not a content creator. I'm just a guy trying to help people battle their what they're going through in life with their loved one's addiction and how to live with somebody who's an addict or an alcoholic, or if you have lived with somebody who's an alcoholic or an addict. Those, unfortunately, it doesn't just go away as soon as they move out or move on with their life, especially if they're still not sober. Wanted to cover up what I mentioned last week. I kind of was all over the place last week. Again, I'm not scripted. I'm just kind of going. I wing this. I leave myself some notes. But I guess the most important thing I wanted to cover tonight would be step one, the most important step there is. Without step one, everything else doesn't make any sense. Step one is you are powerless over alcohol and addiction. Your life has become unmanageable. If you truly believe that someone battling addiction is powerless over their addiction as far as their alcohol and their drug addiction, their lives have become unmanageable. If you truly believe that, then obviously the person who's going through that addiction, you have no control over them either. You have no control over someone else's addiction. Therefore, that's why I use the term loved one as opposed to my addict or my alcoholic or my qualifier. No one should be defined by their disease. If someone's suffering from lung cancer, you don't call them your cancer patient, or if someone's suffering from a disease, you don't label them that. The disease that doesn't define you, define the person who's suffering from it. So don't strip someone down to their addiction. It takes to humanity out of the human, and that's not a good thing to do. I'm trying to keep my hands down because my wife said I was wringing my hands too much last week. So I'm trying to get better as I go along with this. Also, I lost the glasses. She said it makes me look younger, so we'll see. Again, a little nervous about this. I'm doing the best I can. So I've been in AL-ANON Seeking Serenity programs now for a little over 7 years now. And like I mentioned last week, I've spoken at a lot of different events and groups and meetings and things of that nature. And I've written some paperwork sent into the Al-Anon publication. But I just feel like this is an opportunity for me to reach more people. And hopefully, if one person who watches this video has an epiphany and says, oh, that sounds like me, then maybe it's been good. I'm at work right now. I just closed the office. And so if the phone rings in the background, please ignore it. You have my undivided attention. So step one, like I said, if you understand that you have no control over someone else's addiction, once you get down that fact and accept it, it's almost as if a weight's taken off your shoulders because you realize that what you've been doing is never going to work. You can't change somebody unless they want to change. It's a cliche, but it's absolutely true. Cliches are cliches for a reason because you say them a lot, and a lot of times they're accurate. But you can't force somebody into recovery. You can't force someone into sobriety. All you can do as the person watching this insane play out in front of you is to take care of yourself. How do you do that? Well, you work your steps. Again, easier said than done. It took me 6, maybe 10 meetings before I realized that I wasn't going to hear any crib notes. I wasn't going to hear any quick fixes. I wasn't going to hear any tips or tricks to try and get my loved one to stop using drugs or alcohol. That's not what meetings are for. They have their own meetings to go to if they go. It's up to them. These videos, Al-Anon meetings, recovery meetings are for the person who lives with or has lived with the loved one who's battling the addiction. These videos are for you, my fellow crazy people. We watched a person's life unfold in front of us and watched them do insane things and tried to stop them, and yet they kept on doing them. This is an insane disease. I liken addiction to the best analogy I can use for addiction. The best way to get your head around it is think of addiction as a parasite, a very thriving, well-attuned parasite. All a parasite does is keep the host alive enough to feed it. You'll see people in the throes of addiction or alcoholism, and they're the shells of themselves, what they used to be, because that parasite will keep them alive just enough to keep on feeding them the drugs, the alcohol. It's a horrible sight. It's terrible. It's to watch people that once had everything end up with nothing because the addiction, the parasite, tells them All you need is me. All you need is me. You don't need family. You don't need a job. You don't need food. You don't need anything except me. I'm the one who loves you. I'll take care of you. Keep on feeding me. Forget everybody else. And how they get fed is they fill the loved one's mind subconsciously with this craving, this need, this want. It's a physical craving as well, to keep on coming back for more, to feed me, feed me, feed me, feed me, until there's nothing left. Either the loved one passes away or they get a hold of the addiction and it can somehow stifle the parasite. Does the parasite ever fully die? No, of course not. You're dealing with somebody who's battling a life-altering, potentially fatal disease. Addiction is potentially fatal. One or two things is going to happen. Either they're going to get recovered, they're going to get sober, or it's going to kill them. Rarely does it ever end up any other way. So understand that you're dealing with something that's been working on your loved one's psyche, mind, spirit, soul, and telling it that nothing else matters except me. You can't beat that. You can't fight that. Stop trying. You can't do battle with this demon, especially without the right tools as far as getting yourself sane, getting yourself protected. You've got an opportunity to realize that sobriety is attainable for your loved one if they go and try and find it. You can't force them to it. You can't bargain with them. You can't force them to do it. You can't punish them into it. They're going to do what they're going to do no matter what you do. So you got to put that oxygen mask on yourself and take care of yourself now, because no one else is going to do it for you. So how do you find a path through serenity? Step one, let go this thought of you controlling addiction. It's not going to happen. All you can control is yourself. And if you find a higher power, if you find it inside yourself to find a higher power, whether it be God, Allah, Jesus, Zeus, whoever, but if you find that power inside you, that inner power, that power above yourself, outside yourself, your higher power, you can keep yourself from slipping into the abyss with them, which is unfortunately what a lot of us do. We figure that the only person who can fix our loved one is us. And you'll waste your life, you waste your life savings, you'll lose friends, family, jobs, you'll lose everything trying to fix them, and you can't. All you can fix is yourself. I always use the example of going to a movie theater. My wife and I love to watch horror movies. And you see people in a movie theater, when they're watching these people on the screen, they scream out, "Don't go in there." Well, what happens? They go in there because they can't hear you. You have no control over the people on the movie screen. You have no control over your loved one's life either as far as their recovery. So stop trying to force it. Until they have that epiphany, until they have that aha moment, and sadly, until they have that rock bottom moment where they realize they can't get any worse than this, that's when they'll have their turnaround, hopefully. Can't force it though. So we got to take care of ourselves. Go to your meetings, find a sponsor, become a sponsor. Becoming a sponsor can be just as therapeutic as having a sponsor. Do your daily readings, read your steps, but by no means ever think that once you work all the steps that you're somehow going to be fixed. This is a lifelong journey for you, and it's cyclical. It'll keep on coming around. And once you get finished step 12, go back to step 1 again. Keep on reading them. You have to stay on your beam. You have to stay focused. You have to keep taking your medicine, because your medicine is what's going to keep you from slipping down into the pit with them. No matter what happens to them, my friends, whatever happens to your loved one, zero control over the outcome. The only person you have control over is yourself. But remember, don't beat yourself up. It's not your fault. The title of my channel. You didn't cause it. You can't control it. You can't cure it. It's not your fault. You're not the reason why they drink. You're not the reason why they use. Don't take on that burden of guilt. Guilt is like a bag of bricks. You carry that along with you for so long and you just can't function anymore. Set that guilt down. Set that bag of bricks down, because it's not your fault. You didn't cause this. But you can be affected if you get yourself so involved in trying to fix them to where it affects your life, your marriage, relationships, your children's lives. If you have one child who has one loved one has an addiction problem and their sibling doesn't, all the attention goes into one sibling all the times. It causes problems. This is the most horrific, demonic, possession, parasitic being we're talking about, addiction. And it kills. It destroys, it kills. What is addiction at its core? What is it? What is its nature? Its nature is to destroy. And it does it very well. What we have to do is use the tools we have available to us. Our higher power, prayer, meditation, the steps, your meetings. And those meetings are magical places. You'll go into those meetings and walk out and feel like you've just had a out-of-body experience, because in a way you have. Not to get religious, but the book of Matthew says that whenever two or more are gathered in my name, I am there. I firmly believe that when you go to these meetings, God is present amongst us. And that's when we can be as close as we can to our higher power, and things can happen in our favor. We pray the Lord's Prayer all the time. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. And then after we finish praying the Lord's Prayer, we immediately say, you know what, Lord, your will isn't working right now. I'm impatient. I'm taking the power back. I'm taking my free will, and I'm going to go ahead and try and run things again. How's it work for us so far? It hasn't. Listen as well as you hear. Listen to the prayer. Don't just hear it. Listen. Thy will be done. Give it over to God. You have no control over your loved one's addiction or alcoholism, so please stop trying to fix it. You can't. The only person you can fix and keep on the beam is yourself. If anything I say makes any sense to you whatsoever, please leave me a comment, like, subscribe. I don't know how these people do all the pointing and stuff like that. Again, I'm not editing this. All you're gonna get is a raw video. I don't know what I'm doing. It took me 25 minutes to learn how to turn the computer back on today. I just did it a week ago. I'd like to keep on doing these. If people are interested in them, maybe give me a little like, give me some support, kind of keep me motivated to keep on coming back. It works if you work it. Never heard that before. Let's go ahead and take a call right now. Bob in Des Moines, Iowa. Nope, just me. I'm all alone. Just talking to somebody. I'm not live. I don't do comments. I'm just a guy trying to help people. So if I can help you, and this helped in any way possible, I'll keep on coming back and doing these. Again, peace is attainable. Serenity is attainable. Just got to go out there and get it. Reach for that brass ring. That ring of serenity is available to you if you try and get it. But we hold ourselves back. We're the ones who put these cinder blocks on our feet and go, I can get through this. I can figure it out. I can fix it. And you're not going anywhere. So if any of this makes any sense, you want to keep on doing these videos, make some comments. My email is available also if you want to ask me a direct question. Again, I am not a drug addiction counselor. I am not a licensed therapist. I don't play one on TV. I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night either. Just a guy who's been to enough meetings that maybe I can pass on some of my knowledge to other people that think maybe there's no hope. There's always hope. Always hope. No matter how bad it gets, there's always hope. And trust me, I have seen some horrible, horrible things that this disease does to people. I've lived it. It's affected my immediate family, my outside family. It affects every family. It doesn't matter. Social status, religion, color, creed, wealth, doesn't matter. It affects everyone. There's only two people out there as far as this disease is concerned. Those people that admit it affects them, and those people that are trying to ignore it. Today in society, we have to have this appearance of having it all together. Social media and things, everything has to be perfect. And life isn't perfect. Life is not perfect. And anyone that tries to force a perfect hat on an imperfect person, it's not going to work. We are all square pegs being hammered into a round hole. We try and make things fit where they don't fit. Ultimately, we can do enough of what we're supposed to be doing. We can get by. Life is never going to be easy. Life is never going to be smooth sailing. Life doesn't have to be as hard as we make it. We make it as hard as it is sometimes, because we tend to train people how to treat us, and they will. And again, if somebody is being affected by alcoholism or addiction, they will take as much as they possibly will take from us as long as we allow it. There's no, I've had enough with addiction. They'll suck you dry and move on to the next host. Again, hope this helps. I'll keep on doing these. No glasses. Should I wear the headphones? I don't know. I feel like maybe if you look real close enough, you may be able to see a slight receding hairline. I'm not sure. So maybe, I don't know. Just kidding. Just trying to add some levity to a depressing subject. Keep coming back to these videos. If you listen to them enough, maybe you might hear something that might make sense for one person. Again, like, subscribe, notification bell. Next time I make a video, you'll be notified of it. I watch enough YouTube videos to know that there's entertainers, there's people that just do things that are interesting, and there's these educational ones that I'm hoping somebody will just go ahead and say, yeah, this guy's boring as hell. He's dull, drab. He's not funny. He's not much to look at. But you know what? Maybe you heard something that might make sense, and you might go, yeah, I'll give him a second shot, third shot, whatever. And again, if you know of anybody that's also battling addiction, living with somebody that's battling addiction, and they could possibly use these videos, please forward them on to somebody else. I would be flattered if someone would send my video to somebody else. That's what it's there for. I play a lot of golf, not as much as I used to, but any club in the bag. It doesn't matter how far from the green you're laying. You're 75 yards out, you pull out a sand wedge, great. The guy next to you pulls out a 5-wood. If it works for him, it works for him. So whatever tool you need to fight this battle, to stay on the beam, to walk the path, you need to use it. And if these videos can be that, fantastic. I'll try and get better with the editing. Again, I don't have the big fancy light, the big giant microphone, the script, the studio. I'm sitting in my office because I'm just trying to do the best I can with what I have. And that's all we should ever try and do. The best we can with what we have. I hope that's been helpful. I am running out of time. Have a good evening. God bless and keep you. And say a prayer for the prayerless. Say a prayer tonight for the people no one ever prays for, because they can eat it. They can use it. Everyone can use a prayer. The biggest sin we can ever do to somebody is to say we're going to pray for them and don't. Prayer is the most powerful tool we have in our bag, so use it. With that, peace be with you. Have a good evening, and I'll see you next week.